Hey you guys, welcome to another math video. In this one we get to start chapter 10, which is our second to last chapter. After this one we only have chapter 11 and we are donezo with math. Woo! So keep working hard, you guys are doing fabulous. Okay, chapter 10, if you haven't read already, is talking about measurement, and this is another one of my favorite things to do in math. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this chapter as well. Okay, so the first ones you can do by yourself. 1 and 2 just focus on grabbing a ruler and measuring those objects to the closest inch. But the ones further down, 3 and 4, are going to be a little bit more challenging for you. Let's see if we can, there we go. Okay. So this goes back to something that we talked about way back at the beginning of the year, where we looked at patterns when we multiply and divide by 10, 100,000. So if you need to, go back into your math notebook, find where we did that, and use that as a pattern, because remember, our numbers are moving around. The decimal stays put, and our numbers are moving around as we multiply or divide by tens. Okay? So on number 3, this one goes 1 times 5.98, which is the same. 1 times anything is always itself. Then we do 10 times the same number, 5.98, and look what happened to our number. It changed to 59.8. So you can already tell which direction are our numbers moving between these two. Are they moving left and getting smaller, or are they moving right and getting bigger? They're moving right and getting bigger, aren't they? 5 is a lot smaller than 59. So our numbers are moving right. When you times, the numbers get bigger. So do that same thing here. Now we have 100 times 5.89. And if we follow the pattern down, we know our next number is going to scooch over, and we'll have 598.0. You don't have to put the 0.0 on there, but that just shows that there's nothing behind it. So you can choose to have that or not. However, keep that in mind for when you do this one. I want you to try that one on your own, okay? Now let's do some of number 4. Number 4, we're dividing this time. When we divide, do our numbers get bigger or smaller? Usually they get smaller, and if getting bigger meant that we were moving right, getting smaller will mean that we're moving left. Or no, sorry, right. Golly, my directions are all mixed up. When you get bigger, you move left. When you get smaller, you move right. Sorry, that was confusing for myself. Okay, let's get back into it. 235 divided by 1 is 235. Same thing as over here. Anything divided by 1 is always itself. Now we have the same number, 235, but we're dividing by 10 this time, and we get 23.5. Well, where did this decimal point come from? That wasn't up here. Where does 235 have a decimal point? Tell the adult who's with you. Where does the decimal on a whole number like that hang out? Hangs out at the end, right? So there's an invisible decimal point right there at the end. When we divide by 10, our numbers scooched this way, so the 5 jumped over the decimal point and is now on the other side. Okay, 23 is a lot smaller than 235, right? Okay, let's follow this pattern down. 235 divided by 100. If we follow the pattern, that means another number is going to jump over the decimal point. So then I'll be left with 2.35. So now my 3 jumped over, right? I want you to try this one on your own, and then you can do 5 and 6. Which unit do you think would be the best to measure these two objects? And think about it in real life, like if you had an actual pencil or if you actually came to the football field, what would you use to measure them? Okay? Go on to the next page. This is going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to help you get started on this Venn diagram. This is just sorting these words over here, and I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit so we can see all of the words at once. Okay, so we've got this whole big long list of words here, and in measurement, there are two different ways that people measure things. with customary units, which is what the United States uses, and with metric units, which is what pretty much the rest of the world uses. So knowing these two is pretty important, and knowing what goes under each one is just as important. Okay, so first thing, I want to know what's similar between them. And this is going to be a little bit tricky to figure out. Just pause the video real quick and glance through all of these words and see if you can figure out which words fit only for both. It's not just metric and it's not just customary, but it goes in both. There are 3 words I want you to find. Okay, pause the video, see if you can find 3 words that fit in for both. Okay, while you were looking, I did some looking too. The first word that fits in both starts with an L. The second word that fits in both starts with a W. And the third word that fits in both starts with a C. There's a couple of L words here. The one I know that fits both is length. The reason I know length fits in both, because customary and metric are just ways of measuring. And both of them measure length. They measure how long things are. Okay? So if that helps you with W and C, go ahead and fill those ones in if you didn't already. Let's look for a W word. Aha, weight. Weight, again, is just something. Did I spell that right? No, I did not. I forgot the H. Oops. Anyways, weight is something that can be measured, and both customary units and metric units measure how heavy things are. They just have different names. Okay, and there's a C word that also fits in both of these. And if you look down the list, there's only one C word. That word is capacity. Okay. Capacity might be a new word for us, but if you think you know what it is, go ahead and tell the adult with you what you think it means. Capacity is how much something holds. And I like to think of it especially with my water bottle. Down on the bottom of my water bottle, it says 700 milliliters. I don't know if you can see that on camera. But this bottle, from bottom to top, holds 700 milliliters of liquid. So milliliters is a unit of capacity, how much something holds. That means how much I can put in here of whatever liquid I'm going to drink. Okay? Now, there are lots of different units over here. Let's go ahead and cross out the ones that we've used. So the rest of these are all units of metric or customary that measure length. And some of these will sound familiar to you, especially the ones that are customary. You'll probably know a few of the metric ones too, but the customary ones are the ones that the United States uses, and so we're very familiar with those. There are 4 that fit under customary, and then the rest of them on this list are all metric. I think they're just wanting to tell you the words so that you hear them once. So I'm going to help you out again. Under customary, there's one that starts with an M, one that starts with a P, one that starts with a G, and one that starts with a T. Those are all of the customary units of measurement. The rest of them will all be metric units, which we're not super familiar with, but some of them might sound familiar, like you've maybe heard of them before. Okay, go ahead and find all of your customary units and then all of your metric units. You can do that on your own now. And then use your green vocab words to fill in these ones down here. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.